Well, we're about 12:30 now. I just got out of Star Trek Into Darkness. My God, that's a good movie. I just cover obviously basic points and I get spoilers. And I wrote down the trailers as well, which is not many new ones. Um, it is a really good film. If you liked the reboot, the one from a couple of years ago, you'll like this. It's it's funny how a film can be a lot of the same and different at the same time. It's actually really impressive. Um, not just like visually acting. I will I will now state Carl Urban is now my favorite actor to see in things. It used to be Nicolas Cage, now it's Carl Urban because he seems to be picking roles now that are far more suited to what he does. And good on him, good on him for picking that. I hope he returns in Red. That'll be fun. Red 2 will be funny. But I can't really say there's anything, I can't pick anything out in the film that bugged me at all. I mean, I'm not a big Star Trek fan. I never was, and I've probably only ever seen Wrath of Khan. I think even I've not even seen all of that. I've only seen parts. So obviously, um, I'm not the person to talk about this film, probably really. Haley unfortunately couldn't come to this because she'd went to a doctor's appointment yesterday and she wasn't. And I was coming to this early. I came to the first showing at 10 today. There was a midnight screening, but I had gotten back from playing Dungeons and Dragons in Manchester, and I had to film the show for this week, which I'm going to be editing as soon as I get back. So I wasn't going to come to that. I'd have had to basically I got back probably about 11, and I would have had to go on straight out, and I wasn't going to do that one. Maybe for another one. Maybe for The Hobbit. I'll go to that. Right, I'll start sliding into spoilers. 3 words make up the spoilers for this film. 3 words. 3 words. Khan Noonien Singh. Benedict Cumberbatch's character is revealed to be Khan. Well, his name is Khan. They never say if it is meant to be Khan Noonien Singh. It's just Khan. And there are a lot of references to Wrath of Khan. There are a lot. It is. I can see like conversations being brought up between like the people who like this version, comparing it to the old one, because it references Wrath of Khan a lot. It's amazing actually how much it references Wrath of Khan. Tribbles also appear though. It's just Chris Pine comes in. It's just Bones. What are you doing with that Tribble? Hey. I do like that they've done that with these. That even my cursory knowledge of Star Trek does mean that whenever they bring up these characters or these creatures, I do know of them. Which is really good actually. It's really fun because people have will know little bits of Star Trek and will recognize these things. So it's a wonderful way to do it. There was a lot of sort of the same from like the original film, and I will admit I only watched the original film yesterday. I got it on DVD on Tuesday. Watched it I watched it last afternoon while I was on lunch, and then I watched it again before I went to sleep. So the film was fresh in my mind from coming here. There is a lot of the same. A lot of the stuff that people would have liked from the first one, you'll like in this one. Yeah, it's. Benedict Cumberbatch, I want to see in more things. That's all I'm going to say for that one, really. The first time he gets into a fight, the fight, the Klingons do appear in this for about 10 minutes. Probably less than that. Probably less than 10 minutes. Because they do not, they appear, they get shown, and I could see the third film being a war with them. I could. I don't know what they're going to do. This would be a obvious question. But when he first appears, they're being attacked by like a group of Klingons, and he basically appears dressed all in black. He's got a massive sort of laser gun under one arm and this sort of laser rifle in the other, and he takes them out. He takes all of them out, and it's probably about 20. He takes them out one at a time. It's friggin' beautiful. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh, it's just, I want to see Benedict Cumberbatch in more things. I will be far happier if I see him in more things. Him, Carl Urban. Those are the two people I want to see in more films. Simon Pegg returns as Scotty with a bit more. He has a bit more to do in this film in comparison to the last one, because he ends up like Khan starts talking to Kirk, and once that happens, everything's starting to go horribly wrong. And he basically reveals that the Admiral is trying to start a war intentionally, and was using Khan to do it, and also using Khan's people. He tries to set up Kirk. It's backfire on the grandest of occasions. And basically, as Khan starts giving this information out, Kirk then gives it to Scotty, who has left the ship because he doesn't want these missiles on board, which are then revealed to be Khan's people, the rest of his crew. So he goes in to investigate this region of space, which is just hidden, it's behind one of the moons of Jupiter, which I can't remember because this is how spotty my sort of knowledge is for Star Trek. Was if one of the lines that Khan says is something about around the moons of Jupiter, is chasing Kirk around the moons of Jupiter, trying to get him. Because if it is, that's a really fun little reference. That's a grand little nod. Scotty has what to do, and he ends up being that sort of character who disappears for a bit of the film, and he reappears at the last moment when they really need him, and it really works. There was nothing I was thinking where it was just like, oh, they're doing that again, are they? Or even there was this standard sort of cliches I didn't really mind. I was quite happy watching it. There was right. Well, this is late spoilers. This is really late spoilers. I mentioned before about them referencing the Wrath of Khan. They do that scene again. They have someone die by radiation. But the fun little thing is, they flipped it on its head. Kirk is now the one who dies of radiation, and Spock is the one he talks to, and then Spock is the one who talks to him as he's dying. Holy shit, is that scene good? If you do not cry in that scene, then you are stoned. Because I'm staging, I'm not the biggest of Star Trek fans. I've only just seen the first one yesterday. But even that was just sad. It really did get to me. I was really, really impressed. He comes back at the end. He's they're not doing the Genesis planet. He's not gonna come back like that and be a kid and partly horny during it as well. My knowledge of the films that's just strange. Vulcan biology confuses me. But he's saved due to Khan, due to the blood they get out of him, because basically Bones wants to study it, and fully enough, the first creature actually the film to come back to life is a tribble. He injects Khan's blood into a tribble, and that's how he realizes he can bring Kirk back. Suddenly he's alive. Hopefully they don't take over the ship again. That'd be hilarious. But it's really good. Really impressive. There's a lot more of trying to get the relationship of Spock and Kirk. There's a lot of that. They've really amped up this whole that they are at odds constantly, but they need to be friends. They need to trust each other, because if they don't, they won't do anything. They won't ever become as great, and they won't become the people they're meant to be. Of course, I don't know if Chris Pine wants to turn into William Shatner. I wouldn't. I'd turn to Leonard Nimoy. There are some great moments, just like back to Benedict Cumberbatch once again. He crushes a man's head like a grape. They catch up to the Admiral, and he appears. reveals like, oh, I wish you hadn't, I wish you just gone along with the plan, blah blah blah, and they sneak on board, and they have the big confrontation. And Benedict Cumberbatch crushes the guy's head like grape. It's kind of awesome. You don't see it. There is a surprising lack of blood, despite what he does, which seems to be crush a man's skull from the outside. I'm actually not sure because I'm really bad with faces half the time, unless unless I know them perfectly. I think the Admiral is the guy from RoboCop, the guy who played RoboCop. I don't know. It looks very similar to him. He's probably not, and I'm probably getting confused because that's what I do. But he's good. It's funny how if I compare it to, like, with Iron Man 3, which I know seems a weird comparison, but I'll explain. In Iron Man 3, obviously they go from one villain then to another, and so that's diffused. Like, oh right, so he was the full villain. In this, however, they do it well. They go from, oh, the Admiral's the villain, and then, oh, we've defeated him, but oh no, Khan is now the villain, and I'm actually really impressed because sometimes when you do stuff like that in films, it doesn't work. Spider-Man 3 would be a grand example of that. It was terrible, and you just couldn't. It just didn't work. Because it doesn't sometimes. Sometimes you can't move from one villain to another and expect us to hold on. But both of them had motivations, and they had the backstory to give it. They had that perfect amount of time devoted to them, so that we never just thought, oh, they're just throwing in a bad guy for the last second to make the film longer. But it works. You understand the Admiral's idea. You understand that he wants to win. He knows that a war is going to happen eventually, and he is doing everything in his power to save humanity. And then Benedict Cumberbatch's character of Khan is doing exactly the same. He's wanting to save his own. He wants to save his crew, but he will do whatever it takes to do it. And it works. It really does. And he really comes across as a sympathetic character. I mean, he's a fucking he is a sociopath. I just swore on a video. He is a sociopath. He will kill anyone who gets in his way, but he is really empathetic when it comes to it. He is really, really empathetic. She's sympathetic. He's a very sympathetic character, not empathetic. He's really understandable and sympathetic. You can see where he's going because there's a lot of, like the beginning of the film, Kirk saves Spock's life, probably not for the first time. And he's very sort of like, oh, well, why did you? It was illogical. You shouldn't have done it. And he it's funny how much of the film they spend trying to get across that message, that you should always help your friends and that you should stand by them and trust them. And that does seem to, I think that's probably major themes, because when after the Enterprise ends up getting seen as a god at the beginning of the film, which I really love. They're supposed to avoid being seen, and that happens. But that, and basically, like, Kirk gets his command taken away from him. And Pike, basically, Captain Pike appears, and he tells him, like, I told them how much I trust you, and they believed me, and you must prove me you're right. And that is it. It's a lot about trust in this film. It really is. It's the trusting someone to do not just trusting them to do the right thing, but to stand by you as you do what you think is the right thing. Why does he trust Khan? That's a stupid idea. Don't trust Khan. Leonard Nimoy does make like a small sort of cameo appearance. He's not quite in it as much as the other film in the first one. He's only in it for about probably 3 minutes at the most, I think. And that's about it. This is the one when you're doing a review in a car with people outside. But yeah, he was in it for about 3 minutes, and he He at first tries to avoid telling Spock about who Khan is, and I don't know how much he tells him. Because he basically starts to slowly explain. He says like Khan is the most dangerous person they've ever faced, and they defeated him, but at great loss. And see, this is where I'm not too good at talking about this because I don't know the original films well enough to know when they've referenced it. I don't know how the original film played out, but I imagine that the film was similar because they seem to have referenced and played it out a lot, and the it seems to be that Spock comes to the plan he uses after speaking to his older self, which is the only thing I could think. But I really enjoyed this film. I really, really did like this film, and I'm not a big Star Trek fan. I never have been, and I would actually say this series would really get these series of films have probably made me want to go and see the originals and to watch the original series because there's just I feel like there's references I'll only get if I've watched it, which can be an issue with this sort of stuff actually because there's a lot of information, a lot of possible information they could use, and I'm sure that they are, which so whenever there's a reference, it go right past me. But some of the major references, like the I'm a doctor, not a weapons expert, which is stuff like that. When McCoy says it, I understand. I get that reference. I get where that was linked to the show because those are the major references, the ones you understand. But I'm sure there are a bucket load of little references to the original series that I just don't know and I don't recognize, and it's unfortunate. So I do feel like wanting to go back and watch the original series. I mean, that is a long series. That's a long sit, and I probably don't. Well, I might have the time at the moment. I've got other stuff. I've got videos I need to get up and stuff I need to work on. I've got something specific I definitely need to work on. Right, I've been talking about 20 minutes now, so that's not too bad. I'm gonna put a break in here, and I'll come back and I'll talk about the trailers. Which won't be very long, I imagine, because most of the same ones we've gotten when we see when we see Ant-Man 3. So, back in a minute. Right, so trailers. I go down sort of list of importance really here. I got the trailer for Fast and Furious 6 and World War Z again. Neither of those I'm gonna probably go and see. I don't want to see Fast and Furious 6 because I've never given a shit about that series because it sucks and always has. Well, I don't know, it's never been my thing. I've never really given care for cars that much and never put that much thought into them. And it just seems now like they've decided, hell, who's watching it? We might as well go insane. So that's fun for them. That's fine for them. I'm just not going to sit through it. It's not going to draw me into the rest of the series, and I don't think it's going to make me want to watch the other ones. That plot is not going to be that complicated, I imagine. World War Z. My disdain for World War Z is the same I have for the Resident Evil movies. They are not done in the genre they should be. Resident Evil, I have always said and always thought, should be done as a horror film. It should never have been an action film. I don't know why they took it to that genre. And World War Z should not be an action film. It just shouldn't. I've read the book. The book sits on my bookcase along with a fair few other things I've probably not actually gone fully read through. But after seeing the trailer, I couldn't fully remember. And I went and looked at the book. The film should be a documentary. It's really weird to say, but it should be a documentary. The way it's set out in the book and the way it's presented would be perfectly designed to be a documentary. I would admit, it'd be a fake documentary, but it would be interesting. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone do a film like that. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do a film where it's after the zombie invasion and people are living and rebuilding what they can. There may be those films out there, I don't know. you can't see everything. But I haven't heard of any sort of mainstream one. Nothing major, nothing like that was in the cinemas. Let's see what else we got. We got a new Man of Steel trailer, at least one I hadn't seen. I don't know, probably might have been a bit newer. That's looking way better. It's looking really good. Because I'm a tad wary with Zack Snyder. And as they keep putting Zack Snyder, director of 300 and Watchmen, like, right, that doesn't give me hope really for these films. I didn't like Watchmen that much. I found it a bit boring. It's a bit long. I like the comic. I've read that. But the trailer really good. It seems interesting that they're focusing more on at least from what I can tell from the trailer, they're focusing more on Superman growing into what he is instead of in the other films where he hasn't and he's been that already. They're not skipping it. It doesn't seem like they're gonna go all Smallville, which I'm glad for. I'm quite happy about. But it does seem like they're going to focus on his arrival at the point of becoming Superman. What else we got? What else? Another trailer for After Earth, which it seems like Shyamalan's weakest idea of a film. He's already revealed the twist. The twist is they're on Earth. if I would love to find out that the twist to that film is that they're not actually on Earth and Will Smith's just lying to his son. Hey, it'd be a good twist. I wouldn't see it coming. Fucking said all the trailers. Oh, it's Earth. And finally, actually a new trailer that I hadn't seen before. Now You See Me. I'm gonna say this film looks really good. Although, of course, it looks like someone's combined magic, with like technology. It seems a bit strange. It's like, oh, you would have to believe in magic. It is. Like, it looks more like you're using advanced technology than actual magic. Well, CGI. Everyone could see, apparently. But it looks really good. So it's Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Morgan Freeman. And two out of those I really like. I like Woody Harrelson. I like Morgan Freeman. I can take Jesse Eisenberg. I didn't like The Social Network. I don't know why I didn't like it. I might give it another watch and see what I think of it. But it looked really good. It's because it seemed to me that they were going for like it's a very modern day Robin Hood sort of story that they're taking for the rich and giving to the poor. And then they were gonna pull something big off at some point, and there's a sort of government agency trying to stop them. Michael Caine's in it. He's just there. I don't quite know for what capacity. He appears to be the man who they robbed from. It's his money that's funding it after the operation to try and catch him. But that looks really good. And I've been talking for a while now. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here because that's all I can really think to talk about. I'm going to head back, grab some lunch, and put this video up. And then I'm going to get to work on the Hey Arnold video because I finished filming it last night. And I've just got to edit it now. That's all I got to do. So that will probably be up Friday. It's either going to be Friday night or Saturday morning. Depends how quickly I get this editing done. But given I've got nothing else to do, I should get it done pretty quickly. So I'll see you guys next time when God knows what I'll be talking about. And at least next time I might have Haley with me, so it won't just be me talking for 25 minutes. See you next time.